Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Asterisk Solution. My name is Zartab Nakhwa. This video we are going to understand the concept of instance and local variable in Java. Now instance and local variable are not actually the type of variables. We have seen the type of variables in our previous video where we have seen that primitive type and object type can be the two type of variables. But based on which position we keep it inside our class, we can also categorize them as instance and local variable. Now, if you keep a variable inside the class but outside the methods and constructors, we'll call it as instance variable. And if we keep a variable inside a method or a constructor, we'll call it as a local variable. Now, based on their positioning, there are certain scenarios we'll have to deal with. So, starting off with scope. Scope is basically like from what point till what point a variable will be available in a class. So an instance variable, let's say I have defined an instance variable x in my class and in local variable to a method y in my class. Now x will be available throughout. Let's say my class A have method m1, m2, m3. So now x is available inside my class directly through all the methods. Whereas the variable defined as y, which is my local variable to my method m1, is only available in my method m1 and it won't be available in m1 and m2. So this is one thing about the scope. Second is initialization. If I declare an instance variable and if I just declare it, it will be initialized to its natural known value. So for example, if you declare an instance primitive variable, let's say int x, it will be by default given the value of 0. Whereas if you declare it as an object, it will point to null because natural known value for an object is null. Whereas for local variable, you have to compulsorily go and give it some value because it will start giving you errors then, that a local variable should compulsorily have an initialization value. Now this was about the initialization. Third point is about the availability in the memory. If you talk about the availability in the memory, an instance variable will be available till the time the object is available in the JVM. Whereas if you go for local variable, it will be only available till the method is alive on the stack. So this brings up to the availability point. Next part is basically about the effect it have. So instance variable affects your object state directly, whereas a local variable affects your object state indirectly. And that's very simple because instance variable directly belongs to an object, whereas a local variable doesn't belong to an object directly, it belongs to a method of an object. So there is always an indirect reference to a variable. So in that point we have got our instance and local variable. There is one more type of variables available, those are also called as block variables. Now let's say if I have a for loop which says for int I is equal to 0, I is less than 10, I plus plus, and I start the block of for. So the variable I will now only be available inside this block. So this type of variables are called as block variables. So in short, instance variables are anything defined inside the class but outside the constructors and methods. Local variables are those which are declared inside the constructor or method and their availability is only inside those constructors and methods, you cannot use it outside. And local variable do not get any special treatment, whereas your instance variables get, because they are their object variables directly, whereas your local variables are not your direct variables of a class or your object, they belong to a method, so they have to be initialized. Thank you. If you like the video, please subscribe our channel Asterisk Solution.